Hello and good evening, and welcome to Broomstick Capital for our first BSQ Tuesday. So, as promised, every week on Tuesday, I'm going to look at a company from an intuitive perspective and look at the institution's consciousness and see where the blocks are when it comes to, energetically, but also there are other more, would say, tangible aspects of a company that can be blocked. And that's what I'm going to focus my attention on through, from a business perspective. In fact, I already have some programs for businesses that I offer through my Magnificent Abundance Manifesto website. And it's around looking at a company energetically, seeing where the blocks are, and looking to what needs to be unlocked, removed, in order for the company to thrive and prosper. And that's why I do refer to BSQ, which is a term that I coined a few years ago when I was working on a project. And it's basically just very simply around assessing the level of consciousness of the company through the energy and through the spirituality of that company. So BSQ stands for Business Spiritual Quotient. And the same way we talk about IQ and EQ, intellectual quotient and emotional quotients, people start talking about spiritual quotients, and now this is applied to business. So it's to me, it's this expansion of myself in terms of what I love doing. So I love healing, whether it's people and whatever they have been carrying with them. I just remove it from an energy perspective. I look energy and I make sure that it's dealt with. So the same can be applied to businesses. So I actually do have an offer running until the 10th of June. For those who want to have a free assessment of their company, I will look into the energy of the company through the business owners as well, obviously, and tell you what you need to do and do a healing so that you can really unlock whatever has been blocking you for a long time. So that's something that is, so the value of this is like a session. If you want me to look at your business, the value is, right now it's a $555 for business, an hour of consultation with me. This is right now free until the 10th of June. So in my BSQ Tuesday, I then go through intuitively what the blocks are. So let me go through what initially and still is really something, so the BSQ, because I did have at the time something really, sophisticated and complicated when it was when I was talking about the BSQ to any investors who wanted to listen to me and whoever I was talking to. So very simply put, so the BSQ is a tool that assess how much spirituality your business is carrying in terms of its consciousness. So how can I really assess this? Well, we do talk about consciousness in terms of figures, right? They say that Christ consciousness is around 1,000, and then I am not the one that created that scale, but you have a scale that says love is around 500, and then I think, and then the more high vibrations are, the higher your consciousness is. So, we do that for people. We can also do that for institutions. And so the BSQ really is, I wrote something really, like I make it as a really professional presentation, which I actually can't share with you because I can't figure out on Facebook how to share screens. You either share screens or you don't see me. I'd rather you see me, don't you think? So let's keep it that way, and let me walk you through it without you seeing my screen, if that's okay with you. So you don't need all of this background, really, but I thought, this is our first session. Let's get to know each other from a business perspective, because you already know me from the energy healing I do when it comes to people. And institutions are also can be put as is an entity. I mean, entity, because in spirituality, entity is something else. But a business is an institution, so it can see an individual concept, right? Not really concept, but it can be, yes, personalized. So what was I saying at the time, which I still do think right now, is the fact that we are now in a society where we are craving for more awareness, authenticity, and spirituality. But going back to the fact that first, we are all connected. So the basic quantum physics law of connectivity, we are all one, right? And what I do today is impacting someone else in the world right now. And it's something really, really basic to watch without going through the very scientific explanation. Watch a series on Netflix, which was called Red Thread. No, it was called Touch, sorry. The series was called Touch on Netflix, and it was about these, I think it's a Chinese or Japanese, I'm not sure, mythology, or basically there is a belief that we are all connected with a red thread, all of us. And if you touch one thing, it impacts someone else right now in the other part of the world. It's the same concept as the butterfly effect, but in essence, we all are connected, and the fact that right now I'm elevating my vibrations and today is kind of affecting people around me as well, because it has a wave effect, a knock-on effect. So now if you apply that to a business, and the business itself increases its vibrations and consciousness and awareness and impact, obviously you can see the kind of snowball effect and domino effect or butterfly effect it will have. So that is kind of amazing and quite powerful. So now you add to this the fact that the universe are functioning through what we call universal law. And if you're into spirituality, and I believe you do if you're following me, you obviously know of Deepak Chopra, who talks about the 7 spiritual law of success, right? So he has the book that talks about it. And let's mix that all together, and then we have the BSQ. So now, what is the assumption? The assumption is there is a very high correlation between how a company applies the universal law into its organization and the positive energy created, translated into prosperity. As a result, if you put this together, so, let's say a company applies the universal law and then creates so much positive energy into the way it operates, then it translates into what? Sustainable and superior financial performance. That's my assumption. When I mean ours, because I was talking as an organization that under broomstick capital, but that's what I think in essence. So, and in order to measure this correlation, this is where the tool is created, and this is the BSQ, Business Spiritual Quotient, which then measures the level of consciousness of the company. Now, why should you care? Well, you should care if you're a business owner, because if you know how to, it's like when someone gives you a massage and they know these energy point on your body, touch it in a very precise way, then the energy is going to flow and you're going to heal your body. You're going to heal from stuff that can be sometimes supposedly incurable, and then you're going to have an amazing life. You're going to feel happier, lighter, and you're going to heal. So imagine doing this on an organization. So you have these, what people call sometimes meridians or energy points. There are so many different names depending upon which culture you are, Indian or Chinese or whatever. But the point is you have these points, energy points, or the chakras, right? And then you actually work on them and clear them and heal them within an institution. So you see that the energy will flow within the institution and it's going to create healing and therefore prosperity and abundance. So that's the gist of a BSQ. And then I go, obviously in my previous presentation, I go on and on and on about how to do this. And I make it sound quite sophisticated. I give a structure. I mean, if you want me to give you a very thorough explanation, I can, but I don't want to take you too deep into the rabbit hole yet. But the point is to give you that rough idea of what that does. So what I do is I go into the energy of the company and feel what is the dominating vibrations and energy by using my intuition. So once I tap into this, I can tell you exactly what's happening, whether it's the values, the culture, but also the relationship with the stakeholders, how you are not respecting some spiritual law or not, universal law, but most importantly, how it affects your KPI. So then, by healing your company at soul level, because if you believe that your company have a consciousness, then you're going to look at, maybe there is a culture of fear in your company. Maybe people don't trust each other. In fact, I did some work on an institution that was eaten up by resentment, and people were kind of mistrusting towards each other, towards management, and there was a really, really bad vibe going on, and that was not creating a good atmosphere, and obviously it affects everything. So when you heal this at that level, and then I did some energy work on it, then things will shift for you. And then you can look into obviously the more tangible measurements, performance measurements. But that is how we start, and then that's how the holistic approach works. So I can give you quickly the components of the BSQ when it was very formal back then. Basically, we look at the soul of the company, what defines it and what drives it. Then we look at the spiritual quotient, so the consciousness of the company itself, through my intuition and other things are taken into account. Then, how is your relationship with the stakeholders and how you relate to, whoever is around you? What's the energy from which you're operating as a management, and what's happening in your team? And then we look at things that can be shifted, improved in your operational environment. And then we do the healing. And healing will be kind of based on all of these components that I just mentioned. And this is where the magic happens. And things are getting unlocked. When I mean things, I mean profitability, turnover. If it's high, it's going to shift. People will want to work there. You're going to attract better quality people in your organizations. Motivation, really not motivation. People are going to feel inspired to work for you again, if they didn't ever, or if something, felt off. So all of this is going to be affected. So that's what the business spiritual quotient first is assessment and then the healing. And it's going to help you unlock many things that you didn't know was blocking your path because you didn't have the awareness. And because obviously from a healing perspective, from a healer, I will see things that only a healer can see. And it's going to allow you to move forward and create more profitability, more happiness as well around you. And then you're going to thrive and expand more and more. So this is super exciting. Obviously, I didn't go through all of the various details I did mention back then when it comes to how this is impact your valuation as well as a company if you want to sell it. But that's to come later. So let's start very simple and basic. If you're a company, you want to grow, you have a team, you are making 250K of minimum turnover, and you are in tune with, or maybe not totally in tune yet, but you are into understanding things from a holistic point of view. You know what I talk about when I talk about, meditation. It doesn't scare you. And you have that level of curiosity and awareness, then we can do it together. So this week, I explain to you how this is going to be done. And then next week, I'm going to start diving into the soul of the companies and looking into how we could heal them. And obviously, if you want your company to be featured, obviously come to me. Or if you want to consult me privately, come. And don't forget, there is this offer. I mean, it's not an offer, it's a gift really, that is running until the June 10th, where I'm going to tune in and tell you what's going on. And it's up to you to, I would love to work with people who are ready to do this kind of work and who are going to really thrive, because not only when I heal at the company level, I heal you as well. So, because your business is an extension of yourself, right? You get that. So, and the people that you attract in terms of your employees and your team is kind of a reflection of your energy and what's happening inside you. So if you have some issues with a few things, so we're going to look into what's happening in your company, in you. We're going to heal it, and we're going to shift all of this to create exactly what you dream of in terms of business and ultimately for yourself. All right, so on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you. And I'm going to, I actually just thought about, people talk very rarely about love in business, but hey, let's do this now through a different lens, through love, vibrations. And I'm going to see you next Tuesday for the next BSQ Tuesday for a real live case study. All right, so, and don't forget, you have again this gift until June 10th, 10th of June, so June 10th, where I am going to be able to give you an assessment of your company, what's going on, what's the block, and how you can move through this and go to the next level. All right, so have a beautiful rest of the evening or day, and happy manifesting. Bye-bye.